Bonjour, 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 bonjour. Ça qu'a fait, ça qu'a fait, ça qu'a fait. Ça qu'a fait, ça qu'a fait, ça qu'a fait. Gros matin, grand matin, ça 8h58, presque 9h du matin. Pin! Ça qu'a passé comme ça dans le pays. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Vous connaissez. Grand matin, ça me vient dire nous bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. C'est commandant mettre l'ordre, cap cassé, mettre l'ordre tout côté, tout partout, dans tout pays, international, dans toute l'école, dans toute l'église, tout partout, dans toute la cour, tout côté, m'a ban nous l'ordre, m'a mettre l'ordre dans des ordres. Oh, qu'on est gen peu fra nous pour prendre nous gen moun qui pour mettre l'autre dans des autres. Donc c'est comme ça lié parce que si pas mettre l'autre dans des autres continuer. C'est même j'avais un petit moun, les petits moun n'a pas grand moun qui pour mettre l'autre sous lui, il vient devant gondé, il vient trop pour terre, il vient trop pour quartier, il vient trop pour pays, il vient trop pour système, on est vient trop tout pour la société. OK. On allait. Jodi a, comme matin, n'a parlé oui. On est tout bagay en principe, tout bagay gen, comment dire ça, gen step. Jodi a m'a fait deux qualités d'émission. M'a fait une en anglais et m'a fait en créole. M'a ban en anglais avec en créole là. Anglais m'on dit Kringlish. M'a ban nou Kringlish. For those that don't understand, I'm going to give it to you in English today. I want to be fair, not just to my Creole people, but I want to be able in a way for me to speak to in English, and I want to be able in a way for you guys to understand in Creole. A lot of people speak a lot of Creole, but there's a lot of things that they do not understand in English, meaning when the word translates, everything translates. That's what it is with languages. When you speak different languages, one word can mean so many different things. So it's better that I break it down for you. Excuse me. It's fair. I think as well for a lot of people that are translators, sometimes you might get stuck in a word because I know I have, even though I speak like real clear Creole and I really understand the English language, but there's some things that sometimes when you translate, it gets misunderstood, mistaken in the Creole Creole language. So I'm going to do my best today to go back and forth just so we have everything out on the table so everybody can hear clearly and understand clearly. Again, if anybody does not understand, feel free to send a message, send me an email, send me a chat through the line. I'm one person like an open book. I'm here to teach. I'm not here to preach. I'm not a preacher. I've always said that I am not a preacher, but I am a teacher and I am a servant. One thing that I will do, I will teach you, because those that don't teach you, they profit off of you. If somebody does not teach you, it's because they're profiting off of you and you're walking around blindly. And as you're walking around blindly, when you walk around blindly and you walking in circles like a chicken with his head cut off, that must mean that you know what, you're being set up for failure, you're getting set up to get killed. Moi, dis ça encore en créole. Non, dans la vie, ou supposé connaître principe, ou supposé connaître moralité. L'on levé, on jambe pas gen moun qui montre, pas tout bagay c'est dans l'école pour montrer, de l'école de la vie aussi. So ça veut dire, gen pile temps, gen pile gens nous lever, gen pile moun qui pas montrer, nous c'est ouais moun faire, nous sip tout, mais nous pas comprendre et nous pas connaître pour qui nous fait tel bagay. So gen pile bagay moi-même, m'pa bon menti, c'est pas livre, me dis ça encore. Ou pas philosophe c'est dans le livre. Ou pas philosophe parce qu'on lit livre et l'apprendre. Mais gen pile bagay dans la vie, c'est expérience soit fait et c'est m'abdou ça d'après c'est bon Dieu qui a montré qui a fait route pour qui a fait chemin pour. L'elle fait ça c'est pas celle pour lui faire. C'est même genre comme si on remède me connaît pour qui a perdu un monde, après ça m'a c'est remède la deux quoi pour tout le monde malade. Marquer monde mettre mourir et whatever moi me connaît remède là m'a dit monde, m'pi méchant parce un monde qui dans la rue qui a passé tout le monde comme ça. Ça fait c'est peut-être ça me fait édition ça en créole tout pour monde qui pas comprendre. C'est pas l'âge qui fait monde comprendre. M'a dit ça encore. C'est pas l'âge qui fait monde comprendre. Parce que ou ka gen 90 ans ou pas comprendre tout en pile principe, pas comprendre en pile réalité. Qu'on y a c'est un monde qui puis j'aime même un petit monde qui vient apprendre ou qui montre bon Dieu qui a été soit bon Dieu qui a utilisé un bourrique, il a utilisé n'importe monde n'importe gens tout pour qu'a mettre puis qu'a faire comprendre apprendre de la vie parce que par contre quelqu'un qui besoin monde faire mal tout qu'on a plité pour nous arriver devant c'est pas derrière nous besoin arriver c'est devant nous besoin arriver entendez Ok. Jodi a me dit comme ça m'a fait mission en deux langues, m'a parlé anglais, m'a parlé en créole. Pas gen on connaît gen moun, oh c'est un mystère pas quitter tout le monde. Moi j'aime moi ça y est moi j'aime ça mélanger ça konya. Haïtien pas gen côté nous cacher, ça veut dire que ça nous pas gagner là pour la caille encore. Nous quitter toute qualité nation entre la caille là, nous quitter tout monde vinn coucher n'importe monde, faire n'importe tête la caille nous. So, et puis bon pour nous mettre moralité à l'anglais, avec principe là à l'anglais, avec tout en créole. Parce que vous connaissez, l'homme était à faire clair, tout le monde connaît, pas de monde qui pour dire, pas de connaître, pas de comprendre. Sous pas là dans la classe, ça c'est une de pas. Ou qu'à pas comprendre, il y a l'autre monde qui comprend, il dit, hey, un tel, c'est comme ça, bah, même bon. Ou même on pas comprendre, il faut comprendre. Parce que, en réalité, là où on ne peut pas dire, c'est parce que c'est bénéfice à faire sur tout le temps, il a fait bénéfice sur puis il a profité de la fête. Parce que les gens connaissent ou pas connaissent rien. Vous comprenez? Ok. Matin, je viens de Koto, je viens de dire aujourd'hui, on a parlé de Golat. Et c'est pas seul Golat qu'on a parlé. On a parlé aussi d'un pile monde qui est gros. L'aime dit gros, et pas seul gros dans physique. Ça veut dire qu'il gros en esprit. Mais c'est parce qu'on gros en esprit, ça veut dire qu'on a l'esprit et au gros en physique. Ou ka physiquement gros, mais en physiquement gros, mais en esprit ou petit. Ou pas qu'on a rien. So, ça veut dire maturité à pas là. M'a dit ça. Maturité à pas là. Ou pour comparer. Qu'on a c'est un monde qui est pour entraîner. Gen bagay c'est entraîner, m'a pas entraîner toujours. M'a dit me connaît tout bagay passer l'autre monde. Gen pe bagay c'est entraîner. M'a entraîner, y a pas entraîner. L'aime dit y a, et pas monde qui a entraîner. Et bon Dieu même qui a entraîner. Ou bon pour ça, gen pe fois bon Dieu mette monde pour entraîner petit li. Ça veut dire c'est même genre nous tous ces soldats dans l'armée. D'accord? Nous tous ces soldats dans l'armée. Toujours gen un commandant en général qui supposé à entraîner. Entraîner oui, so, et l'armée. Mais gen pe fois pas gen moun vraiment qui besoin entraîner moun parce que yo même besoin tête, yo besoin pas besoin moun prendre place yo. Laisse ça ou vinn faire l'armée à faible parce que tout le monde n'a pas entré, c'est les tout ou supposé à entraîner moun, c'est les moun supposé à grandir. C'est le ou gen plus parce que ou pas ka là pour général ou commandant pour toute la vie. Ça veut dire que pour faire route pour l'autre monde venir tout. Côté moun apante ou garder ou après qui moun qui a pas prendre place, qui moun qui a pas lieutenant, qui moun qui a pas général ou même qu'après ça. Ça veut dire nous tous c'est youn dans l'armée. Ça fait longtemps de un pays tête en bas pas gen l'armée, ça sont un pays qui pas gen l'ordre. Un pays qui dans désordre. Ou pas ka gen l'armée ou retirer l'armée. C'est même gens comme si aux États-Unis gen l'armée. Ça t'a passé si nous pas gen l'armée. T'a gen tellement chaos, ça veut dire pays a t'a tête en bas n'importe moun ka entrer Jean le vle. Li ka fait n'importe désordre Jean le vle. N'importe moun te ka dans la a fait ça le vle. Attendez. Ça c'est une de pas. Ma bonne et pour moi en anglais. Now, I just said basically you could be a big person in the spirit, but in the physical, you're small. Same thing, you could be small in the spirit, but you're a physically big person. We've all seen this before. When we go to the gym, we see a big man. Oh, he bitching, but he's the weakest man in there. Whereas you see a scrawny little boy that's right there that stands. And then all of a sudden he has more strength than the one that's been in the gym like what 6-7 times a day or out the week. You see what I'm saying? Taking steroids, taking whatever fast. See, if you pay attention, oh, they just came in my spirit. If you pay attention, a lot of times when you go to the gym, you're building muscle. But here's the thing. Some people like to shortcut. So they start taking I'm not saying protein is shortcut, but some people just don't eat the protein, but they take the shake or they take some kind of supplements. Where there's some people and do a violation and they start taking steroids or they start taking other enhancements in order to enhance their strength. These are the ones that fall and die before their time. Remember that. I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere with you guys. Because here's the reality. We're all in an army. If we're all in an army and we're all soldiers, there are people that have different ranks. You have people that are generals. You have people that are lieutenants. You have people that are commanders. You have different people from different walks that hold different roles and positions. Everybody's not going to hold the same position. Okay, we'll take it to the spiritual realm. It's just like the angels. Michael is Michael. He is the commanding angel. He is the one that's in charge of the army. Michael, no one's going to Gabriel can't come and try to take Michael's position. Other angels as well are not going to come and try to take his position because this is his position. But as the commander, his job is to make sure to know the strength of his army. He sees who's in position, who knows what, who's the strongest, who's the weakest link here, who's the strongest link here, their strong pursuits. So now the problem is a lot of people are not satisfied with their role or knowing when to get there or when you're going to be ready in position to be where you're at. A lot of people are envious and they want to take over somebody else's position. And so they'll use any kind of trickery. They'll use any kind of, they'll use any kind of bribery or they'll use any kind of mimicry to be in a position that they're really not ready for because they have not been on training. They have not been trained either by a commander, lieutenant, general, or even like God. Listen, even God ain't trained them yet because guess what? They have not learned to submit to God, or they have not learned to hold and to just say, you know what? This is not it. No, that's not how it goes. Okay, I've learned something here because guess what? They are still walking around and not observing and not basically taking to hold and taking to position of those that are higher ranked than them. Now, I must say, and I have to be honest with you, we've all been children where we think we've been there yet. We've been there and we got this. When we were 10, we thought we were outgrown. We were bigger than the kids at the playground, so we can come around and bully them. When we got to 15, 16, I know this. Parents, y'all know what that was because we were kids too. When we get to 18, 19, we think we know more than the parent. You see what I'm saying? We think we know more than them, so now we going to outsmart them. We going to know how to talk to them. We going to know how to outdo them because we got this. Listen, technology could be advanced, but let me tell you something called principle, morality, principle, it comes into place. That does not change. Like the laws, you can come together with Congress and change the laws. But before you change the laws, it has to be, what's the word I want to say? It has to be vetoed in or nayed, meaning not everybody going to be able to say, oh, we going in and change the law. This is why there's so many common misconceptions, especially in different cultures when they think they know what your position is. Like the president himself. The president, I'm not talking about the president, listen very good. The president, he is the commander in chief, meaning he's the one in the front line. He's the one in the forefront. He's the speaker of the country. He's a representative of the country, but he does not make laws. Congress does. So when you hear a lot of people from a different cultural background are speaking, they're thinking, oh, it's the president that did the law. Let me tell you something. The president can say this is the law. But until it goes to Congress and Congress comes together and say yay and nay, he didn't make the law. It didn't pass. So if it did not pass, he can say, listen, he can make laws from today to tomorrow. If it doesn't pass through Congress, the president didn't do it. That's why it's called freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to say. You see what I'm saying? You got to understand the laws. It's the same thing when you're in the spiritual realm, in the physical. You better know the principles of life. You better understand the roles and positions as well, because you can't just come up into any role. You can't come into any position and think that, okay, I got this and nobody can. That's not how it rolls. That's not how it goes, and that's not how it rolls. So you need to know the lingo as well as laws and stipulations and statutes. You may not know the numbers. You may not know but you better listen. That's why you got attorneys. A lot of attorneys, let's backtrack again. Sometimes it's not the attorneys. Sometimes it's the the word just came to my mind. They do a lot of work. They work for the attorneys. They basically are looking They're the ones that look into the new laws that came into place. They're the ones that basically are there, like not a legal assistant, but they're basically there. It starts with a P. But basically, they get paid, but they work a lot of hours making sure that they have up to date. I just went blank for a second, y'all. Excuse me. But they basically make sure that they know what laws are into play, what has come to pass, so they can update the attorney. So when the attorney goes to court, they know how to speak, where to speak, and what to do, how to defend you, what to say to defend you. They have to know. It's gonna come to me. Hold on. I say this to say clearly. I don't claim to know everything, but the things that I do know, especially with the terms of life and with the on-the-job training, I didn't choose this position. I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't choose a lot of positions. I don't claim to be more than what I am. But one thing that I will tell you, it's just like going to court. I'm not going to let you go in there blindly and you didn't know and say, I didn't know. And in Creole, we say, I don't know, meaning what you don't know cannot kill you. But what you do know, you will be held accountable for. You knew better, you will pay for the consequences of what you have done. You knew better. Like you knew what the law was when you did this, you will pay for the consequence of what you've done. Now, the consequences are just basically, because I want to let y'all know something as well. And my dit ça en créole. Gen pile moun ki pa konnen position moun de juge en dans un tribunal. Le on juge devant tribunal. Juge là c'est pas lui même qui juge yo. Juge là de quoi pour loi qui campait pour ou et vin devant moun comme si li fair, pas gen moun qui passe sous tête l'autre moun en dans tribunal là. C'est ça juge là pour faire, pour make sure gen égalité. Ça veut dire tout moun en position, tout moun pas gen moun qui a discriminé en dans tribunal là, tout en là parce que lui même qui a la tête en surveillance liée. The judge's job is to make sure that everybody is not just in position, but everybody that's inside the courtroom, that their laws are not being violated. That is the law. That is basically the job of the judge. A lot of times, especially with, like I said, cultural background, different countries, we all say that the judge is the one that basically found them guilty. No. You have to know everybody's role inside the courthouse, inside the courtroom, in order for you to understand and not pass judgment on the attorney, on the judge, on the jurors, on the bailiff, or the suspect, the victim, whatever. Because at that point, you will understand what happens. This based on when you know whose role and whose position and you know the law, you'll know how it was violated, you'll know how the judgment came down, and there will be no bad blood. There will be no taste in the mouth. That's so good. Listen, very good. Listen, I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just trying to make y'all understand. So nobody feels like, oh, this person went over on me. No, now that we got it all on the table, now it's like, once you know the rules, it's up to you how you playing. If you know the rules, and you go ahead and do what you do, that means you got to get ready for the consequences as well. You see what I'm saying? Whether it be good consequences or bad consequences, you knew the rule. You know what time it was. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes I don't know, don't kill nobody. That's what it's a word, it's a parable that we say in Creole. I don't know, didn't kill nobody, but I don't know is not justified. You see what I'm saying? Versus I plead the fifth. I don't know. I don't know. Like literally, if you didn't know, you can't be held guilty for something you did not know. You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that you will not suffer for what you don't know for. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about Goliath. Golat, en créole. N'a parlé de Golat. Ça passe Golat. What happened to Goliath? What happened to Goliath was not going to happen to Goliath. You need to backtrack to find out what happened to Goliath before you can understand what really happened to Goliath. On va nous commencer parler de Golat avec David. On va entrer dans cause de Golat. Nous allons pour entrer comment faire Golat vin là. Golat c'est un gros monsieur littéraire qui Philistin était avec Philistin. Mais en vont comprendre comment faire Golat là, nous ge pour nous connaître pour qui ça Golat là. Ça passe Golat qui fait le devine la côte Philistin. Gen pile monde qui pas entrer non parler comme ça. Gen pile monde qui pas vraiment prêcher. M'pa j'aime tande, m'pa dit pas gen monde qui pas prêcher comme ça non, mais comme si qui montrer parole là comme ça. Mais c'est comme ça lié même. Même si on monde qui aime faire recherche. Même si monde même et pas celle en créole, c'est pas celle en anglais. Sometimes on pour entrer dans l'autre culture tout pour regarder nos histoires pour lire, pour comprendre vraiment ça qui passe dans l'histoire pour connaître comment pour pas faire bagaille, comment pour pas faire en pile situation rivé ou pour pas quitter le rivé la caille. Pour pas quitter le rivé dans quartier. I'll say this. A lot of people hear the story of Goliath and David. And the only thing we focus on is, oh, David was a man after God's heart. And he was just a little boy and he faced Goliath. That is true. But before we even go straight into that, we need to understand, how did Goliath get into this situation? What made Goliath part of the army? How did he get with the Philistines? Let me tell you something. There's a lot of Goliaths that's going to fall. M'di sa jodi a. Gen pile Golat kap tombe. Si yo pa prend position nan men yo puis yo vraiment comprendre côté yo campé, y a tombé. C'est pas parce que Golat c'est Golat en physique, mais gen pile Golat tout qui gon esprit kap tombe. Ou kon pour qui ça y a tombé? Parce que yo pas passé en principe et te gen moralité qui pat là. Gen maletve qui fait là. M'a parler avec nous clair. Attendez bien, oui. Ça me senti émission ça va arriver loin après font m'pa comprendre me senti ensemble ne jodi à me lever m'pa bon nous menti hier pas ton bon jour pour me descenti un petit gens pour moun qui pas connaît 9 septembre c'est un jour m'pa ka jamais oublier yo dit comme ça célébrer les moun nan te vivant pas célébrer les mouri et gen peu fois il frappe plus encore. C'est comme si il frappait mon corps, il frappait, moi même maillot qui passe encore. So, vous connaissez, bien jour, yo m'lam ba là. Et comme ça lié comme vous connaissez la vie, c'est comme ça la vie même. So, I'm okay. Kounya là, m'ble di nou. Jodi an a parlé. Moi pour moun qui pas comprendre anglais, m'a bay bon nou anglais tout, ou prend un petit mot anglais oui pour nous ka comprendre. N'a pas un petit mot anglais pour nous comprendre qu'on laisse aller mon ap di qu'on les ti moun yo ou les ti moun yo pour venir et pour interprète pour yo y a bon n'importe bagay ma job. C'est pas fort yo. Gen pe fois yo pas connaît vrai. Yo dit ça va ou connaît même genre regarder nous, soit regarder bagay dans télé ou pas comprendre ça y est qui dans télé ou les moun qui parle créole anglais qu'on yo dit et dim ça yo dit lui même li pas connaît tout bagay vrai, il bon n'importe cause ma job. So jodi a m'a bon anglais, m'a bon créole pour nous comprendre dans tous les débats. Vous comprenez? OK. Tendez ça qui passe. Et parce que moun m'a mette dehors non, m'a dit nous ça encore. There's nobody's secret I'm putting outside. I'm going to put it out there for y'all. Ain't no secrets. Because to be honest, there's a lot of things y'all think is secrets. It's not secrets. It's because y'all don't read. Yon pile bagay nou di kon sa se secret yo, e pa secret ye. Il a nan Bible, c'est nous même qui parle l'il. Ça veut dire, sous te li, ou tap koné, c'est pas secret lié. Mais comme yon pile moun pa aime li, et yon pile moun qui pa kali. Bon, pour moun qui pa kali, bon m'a dit nous ça jodi ya. Ouais, ça nous dit kon sa nou va mettre de Bible là. Mettez-le dans téléphone, nous quittez le lit pour parce que même qu'on a fait dans n'importe langue, vous faites l'anglais, vous faites le français, vous faites le créole, lit pour comprendre ça qui a passé. C'est même gens tout en anglais, ça aide nous pour moun qui pas apprendre anglais, la aide ou pour moun qui en espagnol, la aide ou pour moun qui en la aide ou tout cas est supposé gagner on de mystère, m'a dit ça vrai. Et pas tout pays, toute culture, pas supposé mettre tout bas au dehors parce que bon Dieu mettait toute culture pour une raison. Il y a un bagage qui sacré. Et tout bagage, il y a un bagage qui sacré pour pays. Mais j'aime ouais ça, ça fait ouais bon Dieu te mélangé. Il va te mélanger non excusez. Les loyaux tout mettre tête ensemble pour venir là même où il gagne. Il fait tout le monde connaît langue pas pour ne pas comprendre ça l'autre fait. Mais j'aime ouais ça y est kounya pour Haïti spécialement, moi c'est mélanger en pile bagay et en pile bagay c'est en des autres liés. Et s'il nan des autres, ça veut dire qu'on a, c'est nous-mêmes c'est we looking bad. Ça veut dire qu'on ça en pile haïtien, c'est nous-mêmes qui va mettre devant comme si c'est nous-mêmes qui va bon. Tendez bien, les m'a pas laver nous. Tendez bien, les m'a pas laver nous. There's a lot of things that have been okay. When I was just talking about the story of Babel, when God saw that they put their heads together to be unified, to be one, just so they can build a ladder, right then and there, he basically separated them, made one not understand what the other was, because he was like, if they can put their heads together to do this, there's no telling that they can do. That doesn't mean God doesn't like unity. It's just that there's certain things that are sacred to different cultures that he lets that be. So that means there is no intermingling between certain kinds. That doesn't mean he's racist. That doesn't mean he's a bigot. It's just that certain things are supposed to be for certain areas, certain cultures. We have to respect what is sanctification, what God has sanctified, what he has deemed just for that region, for that time, and for them people, for these people. So there's a lot of things that have been done out of order. And there's a lot of order that needs to be put in position, set in place. Otherwise, it's going to create a lot of chaos, and there's going to be a lot of fall. I'm not cursing anybody, but I'm telling you what it is. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to fall. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to die. And it's going to be, it is what it is. Because guess what? We're walking around unknowledgeable. Because here's the thing. My people suffer for a lack of knowledge. They suffer. My people suffer. My people die. My people die prematurely because of a lack of knowledge. Sometimes they say knowledge is power. Yes, but wisdom is too. But you can have wisdom and you can have knowledge and still fail because you're not being proactive using it. Here's the thing. Solomon had wisdom. He asked God for wisdom. And even with the wisdom, he still disappointed God. See? So you have to be proactive in what you do and understand the things that you enter into. Again, I always say this disclaimer. I am not a preacher, but I am a teacher. I will teach you if need be. I'm not knocking anybody that I gotta teach you. If it ain't worth. Let me tell you something. If God wakes you up every morning and he ain't charging you, there's too many casualties that are being done out there. There's too many crying. There's too many brothers. There's too many sisters. There's too many mothers. There's too many fathers. There's too many bodies that are being dropped and people being killed for stupidity because of greed. So right now we're going to speak and put it out on the table. For those that don't understand, this is your chance for you to understand. And for those that do understand, help someone else out that's walking around blindly. If you really love each other, you'll help each other. Listen. Okay. Golat. Golat c'est petit opa. Golat c'est pas premier nous dit Jean gros moun qui te pi gros dans parce c'est pas premier petit opa. Comment ça veut dire maman? Non anglais nous we say orpha. Not Oprah, orpha. Et orpha te gen 3 gros petits garçons. Tendez oui? C'est même gens tout. Tendez. Orpha. Et bon. Anglais. Orpha te gen 3 gros garçons. Tendez bien ça m'dou là. Orpha te gen 3 gros garçons. Tout moun te connaît. 3 gros nèg. Mais te gon principe qui passé. Et peut-être ça qui passé, c'est ça qui la cause. Tendez oui? C'est ça qui la cause. Golat tombé. C'est pas David tellement qui fait Golat tombé. Golat tombé parce que il pas attendait. Il pas attendait. Il réagit sans pas penser. Bien peu fois dans la vie, nous réagit sans nous pas penser de la vie. Nous réagit dans situation, mais nous pas penser de situation avant nous réagir. Bien pile fois, nous révolter sans nous pas penser Nous tendons moun di on bagay, nous prenons nous couille avec, nous prenons, nous révolter, nous pas penser. What happened to Goliath wouldn't have happened to Goliath that way. God let it happen that way, but you would have to do the backtrack to find out who Goliath was. Goliath was one of 3 sons of a woman named Orpah. She had 3 giants. Listen to this. She had 3 sons that were giants. Okay? And what happened to Goliath, it happened against who? David. That's true. It did happen to David. You hear what I'm saying? It happened because God was showing that God was showing that he was with David and David was a little person. He was showing how it doesn't matter how big you physically look. If I'm with this one person, I'm going to be with this person because this person is small. This is a small person physically, but he's big. I'm going to show you something. There is principles that one must follow in order for you to overcome and overtake in life. Sometimes we react in a situation. When it occurs, that's why I say think before you react. Look before you leap. Meaning, you hear something, and as soon as you hear it, oh man, you ready. I know, when you were younger, especially when sometimes older, you react to a situation, you run into a situation not thinking first. You ain't even looking before you leap. So now, someone so fought, they said when we were younger, oh, they got your cousin, man, they fighting him. Nah, that's your best cousin. You come running. You go running because that's your cousin. Not knowing it's a setup. And not knowing what caused this whole fight. Now, we say family is family, and family will always be family. You hear what I'm saying to you? That's true, but that doesn't mean family is right. Sometimes family is dead wrong. But because you love the family, you stand with them. You with them, but you ain't with them. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't want them to be hurt, but at the same time, you gotta lay down the law like where it's at. Yo, y'all know y'all my fam and I love y'all, but what y'all did was messed up, or what y'all said, no, we ain't doing this right. You see what I'm saying? You got to have that voice of reasoning there to guide you and lead you and show you, yo, this ain't right. This ain't right. You see what I'm saying? Because what ends up happening, it cannot, that one, you know how I say one bad apple spoils the whole bunch? Meaning that one apple can self-destruct the whole basket because of one thing. Everybody's not thinking before they react. They just leaping. And then now, because everybody's leaping, nobody has enough sense or wisdom to see, yo, it's a trap, there's a hole or something there. That's why you need to be careful who is also your right hand or who is also like a counselor to you. You need to listen, know whose voice is inside your ear. Because sometimes the voice that's in your ear will lead you to the front line and get you killed. I don't know. Ooh, I felt that. I don't know why I felt that, but I felt that. M'di, là ou non, ouais, l'or devant, l'or parler, ou gen pou, spécialement moun qui dans leadership. L'or devant, ou gen pou kon ki moun ki ave ou. Ki moun ki men droitou. Là ou di men droitou, ça veut dire moun sa kon tout à fait li lave ou. Ou gen pou konnen ki moun ki lave ou. Ki moun ki si gen problème, ki moun ou mette devant sous côté. Ou gen pou konnen ki moun ka bon conseil. Parce que d'après moun ka bon conseil la, gen moun ki ka bon mauvais conseil, li la gonon tout. Gen moun ki ba un conseil, c'est dans quel seulement la parler, comme si la parler seul dans tête, il pas connaît rien, la juste parler, il pas prier, il pas prier, il pas connaît rien, il pas attendre voir bon Dieu, il juste abdou. Ça fait ou pour faire attention avec moun, voir moun qui en dans oreille. Gen pe fra, moun nan bon l'idée, c'est ou même li besoin mettre devant. Là où elle besoin mettre devant, li dou on l'idée même li la travail comme ça et après ça c'est ou même qui tombe parce que c'est ou même li te besoin pour tomber même. Ça fait ou pour prendre attention à qui voit ou qui entrer en dans oreille. Sou bon Dieu qu'a utilisé les dit comme ça li te besoin on wa pour te mourir qui moun qui parle pour lui
Kounya wè vraiment esprit menti a dit li prale. Ça montre gen tactique tout bon Dieu qu'a utilisé de quoi pour craser ou parce que vous faites trop. Li connaît. On ça fait du comme ça on va faire n'importe bagay, on va dire n'importe bagay comprendre. Penser on va réagir. Pourquoi réagir? Garder, penser, garder, recherche, garder. Si un bon avocat, l'a fait toute recherche li. L'a gardé devant comme derrière. L'a fait toute qualité, l'a fait tout en dedans pour garder ça pas passé, j'enteye. Nèg avocat li gagné, mais en réalité, li perdu parce que gen avocat magouille. M'pa vle di moun kon sa gen moi tout avocat pas bon. I don't want everybody to say every lawyer is no good. Because if every lawyer was no good, then you wouldn't get a lawyer. You see what I'm saying? The lawyer's job is to make sure that he can present your case to make you look good. But in reality, there's some lawyers you win, but you really lost. And there's some time a loss is really a win. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want nobody to keep thinking or even bashing even some attorneys are saying that, yo, every attorney is no good. Not every attorney is no good. It's a game. So you need to understand that sometimes the attorney has to do what he has no choice but to do. What the law allows him to do. You see what I'm saying? His hand is tied. But at the same time, that doesn't mean he's shiesty. He's just trying to see what law is going to work for you. But like I said, sometimes when you win, you really lost. And when you lost, you really won. Don't always look at it as a lose and win situation. So, kounya la tande. Golat pat pase, yo pon Golat, nan déception. Tout moun a dit, qui ça? Bah, j'aime tande bay ça, tande. Yo pon Golat avec déception. Si yo pas pon Golat nan déception, nous ta dit kon sa Golat te kapala. Parce que, attendez, pour dat Golat là avec frère yo, avec maman, ou pas j'aime tande, ou vraiment, yon problème avec moun gosa yo, avec moun peuple bon Dieu. C'est Philistin qui t'a cherché. Attendez, ouais? C'est Philistin qui t'a cherché un gens pour intimider peuple Israël. So yo vini avec un gros nègre pour intimider peuple Israël. Listen, I'm gonna say this in like I told you, I don't get tired of going back and forth. I've done it for so long. I've been a translator for so long. Truth be told, I really don't need a professional credentials. I've been translating probably since the age of 4 or 5 years old for parents. A lot of us kids, a lot of us adults were translators at the age of 4 or 5 for our children, for our parents. Remember that. So it's a lot of stuff that we really do know how to translate because we're professional. We don't need a license for it. It comes with the territory. And it's not just the Creole people. I mean, Spanish, whatever language you speak, if you speak real good English and you've been that one that was always there, especially an immigrant for your parents, and you were the one speaking for them, you know, so you know how to translate a lot. Some of us not properly, but some of us very properly. I'll say this. Goliath wasn't there with the Philistines. He wasn't always with the Philistines. And truth be told, in the land, it's very rare, not that I could think of or remember, that the giants had any issues with the children of Israel around that time. Those three I'm talking about, of Orpah's sons. It wasn't you don't ask the question what caused Goliath to be with the Philistines. To understand how he got there is a reasoning for you to know what happened. The Philistines were looking for someone to intimidate the children of Israel because they knew the children of Israel were blessed and they were a big army and God was with them. So they needed someone to physically intimidate them. So they seeked out the giant from who? Orpah, because she had 3 sons. Pay attention. Orpah's the mother. I don't care what lingo, I don't care what culture. A mother is the one that nurses you. She carried you. She made sure no harm and danger occurred to you. She made sure that she swallowed you. She made sure that you were protected even when there was people trying out there to kill you. She made sure that there was a covering. Like, you know what I'm saying? When a woman carries a child in her womb, there is the womb that covers this child that basically protects you. The umbilical cord is to feed you, bring you back to life. That's what it's for. That not someone. I'm gonna distinguish a mother's role. Hmm. Oh, I'm going there today. Oh, wow. A mother's role that really birthed you, carried you to the point that you're physically here. And then you have, I've heard people say, your spiritual mothers. I'll give respect to that as well. But before you had the mother, the spiritual mother, or we say the mother of your organization, the church, or whatever, you had the one that physically carried you, that made you here, that protected you up into whatever age. Put it like this, like Hannah. Hannah had Samuel. She said, God, if you give me this child, I'll give him back to you. He will serve you. And that was Prophet Samuel. Do you understand? So this was not a foster mother. This was not a foster mother or a what's the other word I want to say? Like a midwife. Not a midwife, but what it was, a surrogate mother. This was mother. A surrogate mother, of those that don't know, is a woman that carries a child. I'm just carrying a child for y'all, and after that, y'all can have y'all child. But even at that, she plays a role because she has to be healthy. Everything has to be going right for her. Otherwise, the baby feels it. You understand? That's where a lot of it gets complicated. But with women that are surrogate mothers that just carries a child for a couple, they have to make sure the couple makes sure that the mother is not stressed, that the mother is everything is accounted for, that she's not in pain, she's comfortable, she's not stressing, that everything is healthy wise for her, and it because she's playing a role for them. She's not even a role, she's took a position of a surrogate mother. Um, a spiritual mother, from what I'm understanding, is one that basically feeds you life. She gives you life when you feel you're lifeless. Meaning this would be like an adoptive mother. It could be a foster mother as well, where they take in a child or they take in someone and then they basically bring life back into this child. Give them the opportunity that the natural mother can't, because of life or because of structure or whatever it could be. This mother takes in. But the thing is, you have to be careful of the mother because you don't know the intentions of this mother. Because sometimes, y'all, I watch a lot of cartoons, especially with my children. Sometimes a mother is not a mother, meaning the way you have took this child, the way you birthed this child. I mean, not birth, spiritually birth. The way you took in this child plays a drastic role for this child. You can make this child and break this child because now identity becomes a big happening circumstance because now they're no longer under the identity that they should have been when they grew up or to know who they are. You've given them a new identity. It's like a child. You just got a baby. You adopted this child, but a lot of times they want to know what's the background of this child, where they come from, but a lot of times you take in a child, you don't know the background. So now you're opening them up to a lot of different things of life, which is not a bad thing, but then there is something supernatural or natural in this child that has to come to pass because there is a great calling on this child. Do you understand? Well, I will go there. So that means before I'm gonna say this. I don't know. I ain't stepping on nobody's feet, but I gotta say this. Not all mothers are mothers, and not all fathers are fathers. But one thing I will say, as children, when you have a natural mother that birthed you, I don't care to whatever age. I mean, from all your ages. you better listen to you. Her job. It wasn't her job to have you. To be told, she could have aborted. She could have aborted you. I'll say this. Gen pile fois, nous dans esprit monde nan, nous prenons pile wol. Ou elle est maman, et pas toute maman qui maman, et pas tout papa qui papa. Gen maman qui prend wol dans la vie yo fait pit là, yo comme si gen moun qui pas ka faire petit. L'on moun pas ka faire petit, kounya yo joué nan moun yo le on surega. Ça veut dire moun nan connaît ça. Et pas comme si moun nan pas connaît non. Moun nan connaît son surega lié. Kounya ça veut dire moun nan kebe pit là pour li. Pour moun nan parce que de quoi gen peu fois maman pas ka faire petit, madame n'a pas ka faire petit, il pas ka kebe petit ça dépend qui qualité travail tout la fait. Il pas ka kebe petit sur ça qui vient passer. Il prend wall, il kebe pit là pour nous, les fin fait pit là, il pas attaché avec pit là, il ba au petit là. On a nous lever petit nous j'en nous voulait. Wall pas c'est comme si celle ça le fait c'est kebe pit là. Laissez comme ça, gon pile fois moun nan qui en certain femme nan qui yo les surga et moun yo qui la kebe pit là pour yo make sure comme si yo besoin connaît est-ce que moun ça en bonne santé. Est-ce que moun ça en bonne santé, est-ce qu'elle bonne tête, est-ce qu'elle gagne stress, est-ce qu'elle gagne problème parce que travail pas yo pas veut stresser moun nan qui kembe pit là parce que yo connaît n'importe bagay li senti pit là pas senti le tout n'importe frappe li point pit là prend si frappe là c'est peut-être ça ouais dit comme ça en moun qui enceinte c'est parce que comme moun qui mouri depuis moun nan ta senti n'importe bagay li senti li enduré l'elle enceinte c'est ça pit là senti le tout. Si pit la senti comme si il pas supposé là, ou gen bagay nan li, la senti même bagay là, tout pit la senti. Y a moun qui pense il pas senti, pit la senti. Si maman senti l'abandonné, pit la senti l'abandonné tout. L'elle commence quand la dit monsieur, il va vle. Ou prendre comment faire pit ça comme ça? C'est parce que maman te gen en situation. L'on commence à faire research après ça oui. Gen situation comme si qui ou pit la vin senti comme si il pas besoin. Son petit pas besoin, et au moment pas besoin. C'est comme ça le venir. Ça fait du comme ça long femme enceinte, ou pas faire le parler, ou pas faire le mal parce que tout ça l'a senti, l'a subi et puis la cap senti le tout. OK. Ça c'est une de part. Gen peu fois nous dit comme ça esprit maman. C'est pas celle les maman pour ça veut dire c'est maman ça ou gen. On va ou gros c'est ça ou gen maman. Maman qui te lève ou li bon manger, li make sure à l'école, li fait moralité, comme si li lève ou, li bon avenir, li montre que ça bien, ça mal, li montre au chemin de la vie. Soit avec papa, s'il pas avec papa, ça vient passer, elle vient commencer en l'âge, la jeune papa parce que qu'on a soit ça pit la vient gagner, qu'on a maman vient prendre rôle. Ah mais papa vient prendre rôle là parce que pas toute bagaille maman qu'a montré on petit garçon, on petit fille. Qu'on a en réalité tous les deux pour jouer rôle yo. Si c'est un seul monde qui jouer rôle li pas bon. Et si tous les deux pas mettre tête ensemble pour yo ka vraiment lever pizza ka tomber. La pizza marche comme si tout tombé, il pas connaît parce que il pas connaît qui moun a qui pas connaît identité. So comme si il confuse. Si moun pas comprendre ça. Ça fait gan pile fois ouais m'ba voyer de l'eau sous moun non, gan pile fois ouais maman fait un petit moun. Mais c'est un l'autre monde qui prend ti moun nan, oh c'est moi qui maman pit là, c'est moi qui te levé, c'est moi qui te oui, mais nous pas bay moun nan qui fait pizza là ou bal manger ou mettre l'école ou mettre tout ça, nous pas bal respect à tout. Qu'on a l'elle pour faire petite, pit la fait le même bagay là tout li pas wel comme maman. Parce qu'on pour ça, nous montrer le pas qui est pour maman. Nous montrer le pas occuper ça maman te fait dans axialité, excusez oui. Li par contre li ouais seul ou même. Là comme c'est là pour moun nan qui te levé là. Attendez. Moïse te levé, maman Moïse te fait Moïse. De quoi pile te ka sauver Moïse parce que yo t'a tué tout petit moun yo qui gen 2 ans en bas. Li mette Moïse dans de l'eau, non panier dans de l'eau. Kouna tissé même a veillé Leti se a wele Miriam a veye pour de quoi pour bête pas manger Moïse dans de l'eau. Ça vient passer et ouais côté vient la gueule devant palais. Qu'on a dans palais et ouais pas petit pharaon ouais ti petit là il vient il remet petit là. Côté il remet petit là, il prend petit là il lève le con petit li. Mais il dit comme ça il pas gain temps pour vraiment lever petit ça. Il chercher en forme chat ou me dit comme ça pour lever pit là. Fia pas connaît, ça c'est maman en réalité. S'il te connaît c'est maman, m'ba même quoi il t'a fait ça. Il paye même maman. Il paye maman Moïse pour veiller Moïse. Alors bagay, on maman qui fait un petit qui a payé pour veiller pit là. Mais il connaît ouais, ça veut dire vinn gardien pour pit là. Petit paille même il a payé la toucher pour ça. Ouais, comment va là, il bon. Il pas comme ça. Son gardien li. So kounya là, mais lui-même il connaît petit li, c'est un gros petit li, la bat pour sauver petit là. Les petit là vinn en l'âge, li petit là vinn joindre pharaon dans palais. La joindre il levé même j'avais yo. Il grandit même j'avais yo. Il gen même ressources de l'autre moun dans palais parce que kay ganeg li levé, kay pharaon li levé. Yo remel tout. Mais bon Dieu qui te levé là pour une raison. Parce qu'il a besoin, c'est apprendre la pas apprendre. Mais en réalité, Moïse pas connaît. Moïse pas comprendre by ça. Vous comprenez? Moïse pas comprendre by ça. Parce qu'il pas de jamais connaît. Ouais, c'est les bon Dieu montrer tout ça ou t'a entraîné, ou a utiliser, l'on apprend peuple là, ou a mener peuple là, non pays moins te pour mettre. Ça sont l'autre leçon pour longtemps. I was saying, basically, about even with the story of Moses, Moses' mother, we don't even know what was Moses' real name. They never even explain. Because if you understand, Moses wasn't even named by the mother. They didn't, well, I'm not saying he wasn't named by the mother, but we know him as Moses, was his Moshe in Hindu, I'm sorry, in Jewish terms, in Hebrew. But that was the name that the Pharaoh's daughter named him. But they never, not that I know of, that they never said what was the name that the mother gave him. Wow. I'm going deep today. So in actuality, Moses' mom was trying to save him. So she put him in a basket and put him in the water. He was drawn out of the water. This is the name Moses. So she drew him out of the water. Miriam, his sister, was watching the basket to make sure no animals, no crocodiles, no nothing, because this is the Nile River, got to him. And then the basket landed where? Right into the Pharaoh's palace. The Pharaoh's palace. So now the Pharaoh's daughter fell in love with Moses because it was a baby and she knew it was a Hebrew baby. She grew and raised him. And then the little girl, the sister, said, do you want me to find a nurse for you? Do you want me to find someone that can nurse the baby? She brought her own mother to nurse Moses. A mother's getting paid by the Pharaoh's daughter to nurse her own child. Wow. Not only does she get a bonus, she gets her child back. She's also getting paid for taking care of her child. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. A lot of times you don't understand your role. You don't understand your position, but it comes drawn right into place. So what ends up happening? Let's go there. Let's go there. Moses knew as he got older later, this is his sister. This is his brother Aaron. This is his sister this is his sister Miriam, and so forth. So he started knowing the family. The respect for the mother, everything is there. A lot of times we grow older and we have these spiritual mothers, we say. Not just spiritual mothers are not just in church. Spiritual mother is someone that births you. It's like a counselor, a mentor, someone that breathes life and gives you counsel. But you got to be careful. Not everyone that's a spiritual mother is really a mother. They could be a mother that's birthing you, but you need to know what they're birthing you for. Sometimes the spiritual mother is birthing you for death. Sometimes the spiritual mother is birthing you for success. Sometimes the spiritual mother is birthing you for failure. You need to know who and what position that this person has taken on and who gave them this position to take on. Because see, here's the thing. In order for you to have a spiritual mother, you had to have a natural mother. Now, things do occur, meaning, yeah, your mother could have passed naturally. Or your mother can't take care of you the way she needs to take care of you. So now you got a foster mother. Everything can happen. But if there's some kind of deception and manipulation there for you to gain access to a child or to take, then guess what? That's not a spiritual mother no more. That becomes a witch that is guiding you. That's using your gifts. That is using you. That sees something in you that they want. Let's go there. Let's go there. Hold on. Let's go deeper. I told you, Goliath. Goliath was big, but he was small. He loved his mother. Goliath loved his mother because she had 3 giants. I must say, she is a blessed woman. She had 3 giants. They went to her to speak to her regarding her son. The Philistines. Yo, y'all got to see this. Before I did this research, there was another, I have to tell you guys that. You guys can actually look this up and actually see the movie. They went to Orpah. They went to Orpah to ask permission to speak to her, to let go her son, so her son could come. So her son can come to fight for them. That's a principle. Someone comes to your home to ask you for your child. It's just like you have a daughter, or, you have a daughter and a man sees your daughter and he wants to marry your daughter. So they come to the house. Some people say that's old school. No, you meet the family and everything else. Listen to this. Et même Jean tout, tendez oui, ma parle avec nous en créole. Golat, maman Golat, te gen 3 gros nèg. Non, 3 gros nèg sa yo, tout te pou yo. C'est pour li te. On fòm béni. Filistin yo, te chercher peuple Israël la compte. Yo connaît peuple Israël la bon Dieu ta avec yo. Ça y a fait. Yon conseil qui vient dire wa, on a le point de gon gros nèg dans zone nan, on a le chercher monsieur. Si nous gen monsieur avec nous, nous ka intimider peuple Israël là nous pon terre. Attendez oui. So ça yo fait, y aller côté maman. Excusez. Y aller côté maman relé Opa. Côté aller côté maman relé Opa, yo dit comme ça. Opa, nous besoin petit garçon la vinn bataille pour nous avec nous pour nous. Pour avec maman qui gagne l'esprit parce que attendez, maman c'est maman. C'est pas toute maman qui bon maman, mais maman c'est maman. On va ouais maman qui était petite, il y a les qui t'en connaît sous Paris, sous pas pareil. Gyon maman, li même qui entraîne petite li. Gyon maman, c'est pas job li pour entraîner petite là. C'est papa qui supposé entraîner petite là. Mais gen maman qui pense c'est eux même qui devant. Gen maman yo pas gen choix, c'est eux même qui entraîne petite yo. Pour qui ça parce que pas gen papa là. Et que papa, yo pas connait comment pour entraîner homme. Excusez l'anglais, ah oui, on m'aide. Yo pas qu'à entraîner un monde. C'est mon mouche. Attendez oui. Ça fait yo dans la vie, ou besoin 2 moun pour prendre rôle dans ti moun. C'est pas seulement maman, papa tout. Tous les deux supposés jouer rôle là dans ti moun nan. Si nous tous les deux pas jouer rôle là, ti moun n'a confuse. La assez confuse. Et then rôle là nous jouer dans la vie ti moun nan, montrer rôle là c'est un bon rôle lié. Sous pas montrer un bon rôle là pont t'a tomber. Ça faut qu'on entende dire comme ça, ah c'est pas petit et tel, ah c'est même gens yo. Ça veut dire nous montrer le même peut-être là même pas gagne une qui pi pour passer l'autre. Ah, m'a montre un bagay. Si nous qu'on se menti, on aller. Et spécialement les pas gen respect. Les pas gen respect pour le papa ou utiliser pit là pour passer sous tel papa. Nous ouais ça avec ça passé Isaac. Oh, je dis à m'entrer, oui. M'entrer net. M'entrer net. M'di Isaac. Ça qui t'est passé Isaac avec madame ni Rebecca. Nous qui t'en Rebecca pas de respecter Isaac. C'est pour bien li te prendre. On garde. Parce que depuis le commencement pour les gens te vin ensemble. Ça qui vient passer. La même comme maman fait deux jumeaux. Ou pas qu'à dire mais une passer l'autre c'est jumeau yo. Ou ka gen yon ka yon ti jan fave passer l'autre bon pas fave parce que ou mais tous les deux. C'est on hirang la pas fait sous séparé yo. Kouna ça le fait. Li fait Jacob passer sous c'est pas bon Jacob passer sous tête frère li. Ça c'est frère ça c'est une. Frère on connaît frère qu'on passer sous tête. OK. Mais on git on ouais ça le fait. On goûte à courir d'elle ou dit non parce que vous faire ça ou même encore ou encourager le qu'on y a pour passer sous tête papa. Maou ça monto la même Rebecca pas de gain respect pour Isaac. Même les Isaac vient avec. Ouais, ça montre trop un bagay. Pour moun qui pas connaît. M'konne nous pas premier les moun a montré nous comme ça, c'est ça lié. C'est ça lié vrai. Il dit mais comment on va passer sous tête papa? Mais ça pour faire mais ça va faire. Non, même temps tout, c'est pas celle sous tête Isaac Isaac li passé comme papa ou frapper l'autre pit là encore tout. Wow, mes amis, ouais comment va la passer? Ou passer sous tête pit là aussi. Ou pas ta passer sous tête pit là comme ça. Gen en bagay. Kounya là ouais, qui sort fâché. Tellement il fâché, il vient montrer tout ça yo pas vle ouais, il vient montrer depuis ou pas vle Isaac marié avec moun sa yo, m'a montre m'entrer dans famille moun sa yo m'a marié avec. Ça veut dire tout sorte de raï, m'a montre me fait yo devant figure. Et c'est pas faute Isaac qui passe Jean passé, c'est Rebecca. Ta femme dou nous pour nous connaître là n'a plevé dit qu'on a plevé. Ba la vie non Jean Majok. I was saying basically, I even went into the story of it takes two parents to raise a child. Even if you're not together, you need to find a way to raise your children because you both have to instill something inside that child. That child needs something, but you can't instill chaos in both of the children and then expect them to be okay. You see what I'm saying? And give them an identity or role that's not theirs. Because what ends up happening, this child becomes confused and now they're walking around like a chicken with their head cut off. They got so many colors on them, so many jackets on them, so many. Now we don't even know which layer to peel because now they're like onions we have to peel. You see what I'm saying? So what ends up happening, they start picking up a role that should have never been. I was speaking about in reality, a mother can raise a son, but there's something within that son that he's going to need that comes only from a man. He's not going to learn it from himself. He has to get it from a man. You know, even if it be a stepfather or uncle or whatever, they have to get it from a man. Same thing with the daughter. There's something from her father she needs to get. There's something from her father she needs to get. Otherwise, she'll walk around looking from love in all the wrong places and looking for stuff. Fathers, it becomes a mess. Because that's why God gives us all roles as fathers and mothers. So if a mother has to raise a son on her own, she's a single mother, God bless you. God will teach that child to guide that child by mentor coaches and put men around this child in order to guide him to greatness, to be who he needs to be. I pray for that right now. There's also, you got to understand, if a father's there, you better make sure the role of that father as he's there is a role that he's taking on correctly. Because not all fathers can actually father a child. You need to understand, if he lost, it's like the blind leading the blind. Yes, he's there, but doing what? You see what I'm saying? So you need to have somebody that has guidance that's going to guide this child in the correct way, in the right path, in order for him to succeed in life. Okay. Orpah had 3 sons. It doesn't talk about where's the fathers. or father. I don't know. But she had 3 sons. The Philistines needed somebody to intimidate the children of Israel. So they came to her. Out of principle, they came to her out of respect. Because you can't just go in somebody's house and just grab somebody's child like that. That's not how it goes. Oh, I'm going deep today. Like, it's just like having a daughter. If you have a daughter and there's a man that wants to marry her, he can't just walk inside the house and just grab the girl and say, that's it. I'm taking on the daughter. You see what I'm saying? I'm taking your daughter. He ain't even saying nothing. He just took your daughter and said, I'm going to marry her. That's it. I don't care what you think, what you don't think, and da-da-da. Now, I'm not saying back in the days that's not what it is. But sometimes you need to listen. You can't just walk in somebody's house and say, I'm taking your daughter and leave. You see what I'm saying? There are different situations that does occur. But there are situations as well that can be dangerous. Very dangerous. You need to tread lightly. Better they know of you. Better they know, they listen. What's supposed to happen is, listen, I need your daughter's permission. I need your permission in marriage. Now, if they don't like it, that's that's another subject for another day. But you're supposed to actually listen. Okay, let's do an example. I got some work to do as a neighbor in my yard. And I know my neighbor has sons and stuff like that. I go knock on the door. I go knock on the neighbor's door and say, I can't go say, come help me with no, I can't do that. There's a principle. There's a certain respect that I have to do. You can't just go in somebody's yard and just do that. That's not how it works. Now you can't even overstep the mother first, the mother and father. You see how it go? You can't trick the mother and father. It's better you come straight. Listen, I need this, I need that. Because see, here, this is what happens. If something happens to this child while they're in your property, there's hell to pay. Because they're going to be like, well, who gave this child permission to come to my yard? Da, da, da. You see how that works? Oh, well, we came to ask. You asked who? You see what I'm saying? So, but hold on. This child is my child. This child came from my house. I'm the one that birthed that child. Who gave you permission for this child to be in my house? Or for you to go over there and then something happen? You see what I'm saying? It's a principle. There's a principle. That's the truth. That anybody, I don't care if you Haitian, Spanish, white, black, anything happened to this child on anybody property, you accountable because you came to get this child, but you didn't ask permission. You never asked permission. You just took the child. You see what I'm saying? So now you feel like, you know what? You grown. You grown. Correct me if I'm wrong. And correct me if we go in Bible terms. Even for sons, you're still supposed to latch onto your mother until you're married. Because when you're married, it says now you separate from your what? Your mother, and you latch onto your wife. At that point, okay, you chose her. That's you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You good luck. I'm not telling y'all to go marry somebody out there just to. That's why I say there's a way you do things, and there's a way you don't do things. Because here's the thing. The mother's role is life. She gives you life. She breathes life into you. She gives you life. She gives you structure. She's the one. She birthed you. This is why a lot of people fall, because they didn't go through principle. You not only are under a curse, you brought everybody else under a curse too, who's with you, because it's on a lie. What? Yeah. Because see, in actuality, it's like, okay, you didn't ask me permission for this. Okay. It's like your child goes to school far away, but you know your child went to school. You basically sent that child to go to school. They're still under your care, because guess what? Something, God forbid, happened. They ain't calling grandmama. They ain't calling auntie. Who they calling? They got where their mama and daddy. Where their daddy at? Where their mama at? You see what I'm saying? When they do this, it's because that means, so now I'm responsible. You see how that works? Okay. That's why I say it. it really, I'm not going to say it tickles me, but it really does when I see how people treat their real natural mother. But then their spiritual call mothers or whatever, they lift them up like you would have thought that's the first lady of the United States or some kind of country. You mean to tell me you treat that lack of respect is gone? I don't even see you. How can you lead somebody? How can you tell somebody and give them instruction? How can you give them some kind of, what's the word? Advice, and then you're right there not thought. That's called a hypocrite. That's true. I'm going to call it like it is. It's a hypocrite. It's called being a hypocrite. That's why you need to know how it's designed. You better know your principles. You better know everything. So you sit back and you watch. You don't say nothing. You just sit back and you like, okay, I know I'm your mother. Where were they when I had you? You think about it. So now I'm not talking about me, y'all. I'm not talking about nobody else. I'm just telling you in general. So when they came to Orpah because they were going to be in a fight, the fight was the Philistines, y'all. They needed the giant to intimidate the children of Israel. Whoa. It leads to, not every fight is your fight. When you find out what they're fighting for, you have a choice to make. This fight ain't for me. Let me get out the way. You see what I'm saying? This fight ain't for me. Let me get out the way. Because I already see where this is going. I ain't part of y'all mess. You see how that works? There's a lot of fights that occur in life. There's a lot of things that you see. So it takes maturity. Sometimes when somebody comes get you to fight, you better find out first what happened. And then before you find out from them, find out from the beginning, yo, what happened? Oh, you know so fighting. Oh, go strap up. Let's go. You can't go like that. You can't do it like that. Oh, no. Because, see, if you do that, you might be, like I said, you might end up in the front line and not know why you in the front line. You feel me? You need to understand why you there, who you fight, what happened from the beginning. This is why when children are fighting, don't be one of these parents like, yo, whoop his. A real two parents, they'll be like, okay, what happened? You hear it. Now you get the other parent involved. Listen, my son said this, my daughter said this, squaze. What happened? Now, all of a sudden now, they're saying this is what their child said. Bring both of them there. You see what I'm saying? Bring both of them there. It's the same thing. There's a reason for that. I'm going to show you something. It's called protection. Because, see, there's a lot of times, a lot of these children fall. You know why they fall? Because they're not protected. Why they're not protected? Sometimes they are abandoned. Sometimes they're not abandoned. They're out there being grown, thinking they can do it on their own. They don't need to be babied. See me, I don't need. Listen, if you have sons especially, there's some things in life they're going to have to learn on their own. They have to be, but there's sometimes you back up, but you're not far away. Like you back up, but you're still watching. You see what I'm saying? But there are times you got to step back. Now you in the front. You see how that works? Because not every fight is your fight. Some fight is going to be my fight. Some fight is going to be another person's fight. You see what I'm saying? Now, m'a dit ça en créole kounya. Gen principe, le moun vin la kayo, yo prend petit tout. Yo vin di kon sa, OK, c'est même genre ou gen voisin. On prend exemple, c'est ça me dit là. Ou gen voisin. Ou voisin même gen travail pour faire dans yad li. On va wè li vin côté dans yad li, la côté voisin, li di voisin tande. M'gen pe travail pour me faire là. Moi ou gen deux jeunes garçons, ti monsieur là ou jeune fille. Excusez. Est-ce qu'on ka voye yon vin aider pour vin ramasser un peu bail derrière m'a bail ou connait grand moun bail m'a gen moun pour aider m'kounya. Les comme ça, moun n'a ka di m'a voye tel pour m'a voye Junior, m'a voye Josier, m'a voye qui moun voye pour vin aider la caille. Kounya la voye, li prend li voye. Vous comprenez? Li voye la caille li fait ça li supposé faire. Il voye. De quoi, on pour ça un principe là. Si je viens la caille voisin, on vient pour petit voisin. Ba besoin considérer petit voisin, c'est petit cousin. Ou pour petit moun yo, ou vient mener la caille on bagay passé. Qu'on a les la passé, ou on ça ka passé, a gen pile problème. Pour qui ça gen pile problème? Parce que ou te prend petit moun yo, ou vient la caille ou, moun yo pas te connaît, on bagay passé, qu'on a pas gen ri, pas gen comment y voisin encore. Gen problème. Les comme ça, ou a dit, oh, comment fait petit temps vinn travailler la caille ou vinn aider ou pas gen moun qui te dit mais tel ta vinn notre bois ou pas il mette on animaux même te gen c'est un principe avec respect ou vinn demander et tel on connaît petit ou l'autre bois oui me prend ou comme ça c'est comme ça de l'autre bois me te gen travail pour faire me vinn mal prendre est-ce que ou d'accord ou comment va la passer on a laissé ça on a fini li poté li mené pit là ça m'a dit nous c'est pas celle en physique, non? Son bagay en esprit tout, eh? Ah, on parle. C'est pas celle en physique m'a parlé là. Ça veut dire en esprit tout. Parce que y a un principe dans tout bagay. En vont un bagay passer dans le monde invisible, li supposé passer tout dans le monde physique. Sous elle passe dans le monde invisible, la passe en physique. Ça faut pour comprendre l'op entrer dans en pile détail. C'est même gens ouais ça fait tout comme ça dans réalité maman avec papa qui levé petite. Nous mettons pas ensemble mais maman avec papa levé petite. Ou levé petite de quoi ça veut dire gon bagay dans maman puis le point. Gon bagay nan papa aussi, il prend. M'ba di belle-mère, m'ba di bon-père. Oui, moun sa yo ka la parce que moun nan kapay marié, il ka marié. Vous comprenez ça là? On comprend. Mais c'est pas ça lié. Tendez bien. Gen moun y a ranger, ou besoin belle, ou besoin bon-père. Et pas comme ça va la go. M'ba comprendre ça veut dire. M'ba comprendre ça veut dire. So ça veut dire, tendez oui? Gen pile en moralité en paquet bagay qui passé. Avant de ça gen moun yo voye moun nan devant de quoi pour marche li pour elle tomber. Mais en réalité c'est pas ça lié. Et bon Dieu pas jamais camper pour quitter comme ça ou elle fait comme ça. Non. Et pas comme ça la fait. Ou mettre deux moun pas ensemble en réalité that's fine. But si nous gon ti moun nous supposons lever ti moun nan, sal besoin dans maman la pour joindre, sal besoin dans papa la joindre aussi. Vous comprenez? OK. Yo allé, attendez oui, même Félicien yo te gen principe. Y allé côté maman, gros garçon ça. Y allé côté maman. Ouais, Golat un gros garçon te. A maturité bon il marié tout bagay. Attendez. Golat te gen petit oui pour moun qui pas connaît. Attendez. Y allé côté maman, opa. Yo dit opa, nous besoin petit ou. Opa, ou te besoin tande tête au pied ça passé. On a dit bel réfléchi. Qu'on a tande ça passé pour moun qui pas comprendre. Gen peu fois on prière on plan ka rêver comme ça ou fin faire plan après ça plan vinn faire ou même qui tombe sous épée ou. Nan ki jan ou dit ma bon. Y aller quand on pas demander pour petit garçon. Ou pas vinn commencer penser, li dit la retourner avec eux pour dire pour parler avec eux pour dire pour ba réponse. Ou pas même parler avec petit. La parler avec petit. Tout en la parler avec petit, la garder, la suivre. Li gitan connaît, il pas d'accord. Oh, non, mais de temps de gon petit garçon, au petit. Yo dit, ah non, maman m'ka aller, m'ka faire n'importe ni dit tande. Ça fait dire ouais grand monde, tande. Gon baga ou ka ouais, pit la ka pa ouais. C'est pas parce qu'on vient petit, ou pas pit ou petit non. En réalité, ay maturité qui met là, qui faut qu'on y a, ou ka dit non, bataille ça c'est pas pour nous, nous pas rentrer. Ça c'est pas pour nous, ou pas parler. Les moun yo, les rois philistins, ouais, ou pas d'accord. Yo rangé, yo tué ou pas. Tendez oui, yo tué ou pas. De quoi pour yo prendre petit garçon? Pour yo utiliser petit garçon, pour yo faire petit garçon faire ça yo vle faire. Kouna ki moun yo bay pot chay, yo bay pep Israël la pot chay. Yo dit comme ça c'est moun yo qui veye qui vin tuer ou pas. Ça vient passer. La même comment petit garçon, on vient mettre main sous maman, quand elle commence à réagir, ouais, il pensait la vin bataille. De pas même pour Philistin encore besoin non, c'est pour Evan maman. Waouh! Tendez, causer. Ouais les moun a fait plan. Ouais, les moun a fait plan, yo pas qu'à comprendre plan. Ouais, laissez moun a fait plan. Hey! Oui, gen cause. Gen zin. C'est peut-être ça ouais, yo tombe Jean yo tombe. L'on font plan. Compte, ça veut dire maman mouri ou pas mouri. Innocent. Golat mouri tout. Non Jean, innocent. Pour qui ça? Li vini, li qui te fâché, li ay l'orgueil li, était le devant. Pensez, combien de fois nous quitte l'orgueil nous, ay fâché nous mette nous devant, et pourtant nous pas connaître qui moun qui te mette nous devant, qui te mette nous devant pour un match nous. I say this to say, okay, anglais now. I know it sounds so good in Creole, I had to keep going, but I remember everything I said. Don't worry, I ain't leaving out nothing for y'all. In actuality, principle-wise and respect, they came to Orpah to ask for her son. Now, Orpah, her son Goliath was not a small boy. He was a grown man. And if you actually look up, Goliath had kids. Huh? But out of respect, because this was her sons, they came to ask her about her son. Out of respect. She said, let me think about it. As a mother, or even as a parent, as a guardian, you don't need to be like, listen, I'll think about it, I'll get back to you. So now she's thinking, yo, I don't know, something don't feel right. See, because mom is mom. She always gonna have that sense. And not even always, she can see stuff that you probably can't. Orpah was a blessed woman. For her to have, I'm gonna say something, for her to have 3 big giants like that, oh, she had respect. There was a respect on the land for real. Because let me tell you something, it took a lot. It took a lot for her to know to have these children. She trained them children. She know all of them. She know them in and out. She know who ready, who not ready, everything. If I'm correct, I think Goliath was the youngest one, if I'm correct. I have to look and see. If he wasn't the youngest one, he was the middle one. Y'all know. Hold on a second. Y'all know I want to tell the truth. I don't want to lie. Was Goliath the oldest? Hold on a second. I want to see. Yeah, he wasn't the oldest one. Yeah. That's why I say sometimes you got to pick your battles. Pick your battles wisely. Pick them, pick them, pick them. Oprah was not a dumb woman. Oprah was like, this is not, This is not our fight. The king of the Philistines and his counselor, excuse me. That's why I say you got to make sure you know who in your ears giving you counsel. Sometimes the counselor just wants your position. Ooh, did I go there? Oh, wow. Because sometimes the counselor looking at your throne and he won't it. So he goes going to give you a counsel. He going to give you some advice that you shouldn't even listen to. You see what I'm saying? That's why you need to understand who's your counselor. First of all, number one counselor is God. Second, if it don't feel right, I always say if it feel funny, something don't feel right, don't do it. I would rather be wrong and don't do it than be right. And it will be wrong, big wrong, and everybody fault. You feel what I'm saying? So she said no. And granted, I understand some mothers, oh, you baby him. Maybe I see something. Maybe God has shown me something that you didn't see. He didn't privilege you to see. That's why you got to be careful. You see, when you have daughters and you ain't there for your daughters, you see how in the street, once they're out there walking around and you just walk, any idiot, any wolf can come to them and tell them sweet nothings. Oh, you know you beautiful. Oh, you know you so. But if you raised her and but my daughter, you beautiful. Any idiot could come into her and say that. I already know I'm beautiful. Thank you. Bye. That kind of stuff. That means you ain't gotta woo her. You ain't finna lure her into a trap. A lot of times, especially with young men, oh, you would have been further now. Now they're egging your head. They're egging up your head more than you think. And now you thinking you puffed and not bigger than you think. They got you doing stuff bigger than you think. Only did you not know they had you in the front line. The front line is where the battle is hard. And that's where you get killed. And after you get killed, they come out and pour out and but then you dead. You feel what I'm saying? That's why they're giants. You need to know what giant are you. Are you the giant called Goliath that's thinking now you reacting out of emotion and now you talking out the side of your neck? You talking, and not only that, you mocking the God that they serve, because now you what they call you talking. It's like two boxers. You know, when boxers up, you got one got to get in the head of the other. So now you crack talking. You see what I'm saying? On the back, that's what it is. To see if I can really get into his head. So now you not only disrespect the people of Israel, but you disrespected their God as well. So like I said, they came to Orpah and asked permission. She wasn't with it. What you didn't know, they set up a plan. Listen to this. Just so Goliath to come fight. They set up a plan just so Goliath to come fight for them. Meaning, they set up a plan. They know that this is the only way he going to revolt the fight because of his mother. So they killed the mother. So once you kill the mother, the lifeline to him, he ain't even fighting for the Philistines no more. He fighting for himself. He fighting for revenging his mother. Instead of thinking and really, that's why you say when situations occur, you better think before you react. You better look before you leap. Don't act out of character. Don't react to everything that's playing right in position in front of you. Don't react to what you hear in your ear. Because I'm telling you, facts. There are things that will be set up against you and they're going to let you fall. Once you fall, all of a sudden, hell breaks loose. Then you're like, dang, I ain't think about it like that. Yeah, because your emotions were high. I'm not saying if you drink, now you really ain't thinking with the right mind, altered state of mind. So now you thinking like, what the heck is going on? You see what I'm saying? So now it's not until you actually are sober. Now you like, yo, I can't believe this is what was going on. I can't believe this was happening and taking place. Because guess what? You were being set up. Think about it. Listen, they killed Orpah and came back. Because guess what? The sons found her dead. But little did they know
It wasn't the children of Israel that had nothing to do with it. It was the Philistines. That was just another what's the word I want to say? It was just another tactic to get them to be on their side. Because we going there again, like I said because the foundation was faulty, there was no way they were going to win that fight with the Philistines. Now remember, when the children of Israel were out of order, later on, when the children of Israel were out of order with God, the Philistines whooped they behind. But because they were with order with God, what ended up happening? They whooped the Philistines. The Philistines understood that. They just got to be out of order with God. Their God. You see how that works? So now they kill Orpah as a mother, as a son, and their children. As soon as you touch the mama, everybody, it's like, yo, we out to get them. Strap up, we out there. Let's go. Because guess what? Everybody they kill who? You see what I'm saying? My mom. Now you ain't even thinking with the right mind. You ain't even sitting there to think hold up now. What just happened here? Because guess what? You thinking with the wrong head. You thinking out of emotions. You thinking based on what they said to you. You thinking based on what they did to you. You thinking not in the right state of mind, with the altered state. So now because you're thinking in the altered state, what happens? Hold on, y'all. Because you're thinking in an altered state, what ends up happening? You go do things that are out of order. Because you're doing things that are out of order. Oh, snap. Now you don't put yourself into a position of guiltiness because now you wrong. Now you in the wrong. Let me tell y'all something. I've had to learn the hard way and the good and the easy way. Thank God. Not the easy way, but daughter ain't never left my side. I thank God for that. I thank God for that. Even when there's a situation occurring physically that has occurred, God has never left my side. And his angels have always been by my side to show me. Sometimes, because of who I am, he gives me, way before information, like years before. And I'm sitting there watching it like it's a movie. Watching it like a movie, y'all. And he said, I ain't tell you say nothing. I want you to watch. And I sit there and I watch. And I'll be like, what? He said, yeah, I need you to see that yourself. It's okay. Entertain this person. Go ahead, play and entertain them. I'm going to tell you, because this is what's about to happen. Go ahead. Let them fall on their own sword. So I'll be like, I don't like that. He like, yeah, but I'm teaching you something. And I'm showing you something too. So at this point, I just stay quiet. I'll be like, okay. So sometimes you got to play dumb in order to be ahead. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So at this point, listen to this. At this point, what I end up doing as Orpah was talking, she's dead. Her children are grieving. But the main one that's acting up, if you pay attention, the other two giants don't join in the fight. The other two sons, they didn't. No. The giants didn't join. The only one that came was the one that was out of character. Now he mad. His mama ain't here no more. That means he ain't even thinking in the right state of mind. Because he's thinking in an altered state of mind. So now he letting his emotions and his good senses not play into place. That's a dangerous place to be. Because now you out for blood. And you out for blood with the wrong enemy. That ain't your enemy. You are on the enemy side. It's like that movie, Sleeping with the Enemy. You on the side with the enemy. You in bed with your enemy. You're in bed with your enemy. You're on the same battlefield, on the same side with your enemy. That done set you up to get killed. What do you do then? Think about it. Even David set up his own man that knew how to fight,
and put them on the front line and sent a note. Can you imagine? Think about it. The one that brought the note to the other lieutenant, the lack of respect that they end up having for David was never there anymore. Because they knew. Like, bruh, how could you do that? This was your right-hand man. This not even right-hand man. This was like your top fighter. And you put him in the front line to get killed like that? So that means anybody. Think about it. As soldiers, they're thinking, damn, we all dispensable. Look what he did. It was so-and-so. You see what I'm saying? And then took his wife. Stop playing. Then took his wife. Bathsheba. If y'all didn't know the story. But there was an eye that always saw. That's why I say, even when you're doing good, God sees. When you're doing bad, you think he doesn't see either? Of course he sees. Of course he sees. Could you imagine when Nathan, Prophet Nathan, man, there's this position that's called the bearer of bad news. I don't know if I could ever been that person to take that role and position. Because you got to come give the bad news and the good news. The bad news is even worse. Mabdinusa, Tande, Golat, ça te passe Golat. Maman Golat te gen plus. E ba sel Golat li te gen. Ou konen comme petit garçon. Golat, c'est ranger Golat pour mettre devant pour une bataille. Mais c'est eux même qui la cause li mouri tout. Ça vient passer. Là ou vient contre maman Golat pour venir demander Golat, puis demander Golat pour une bataille. Maman me dit qu'on ça la pensée de ça. Il y a moun qui dit côté elle dit ça, côté dit ça. Nous faire recherche là, regardez. Ma ve juge nous même en film de gagner about David, de David. Il a montré au page Golat tout bagay non bon page. Parce que les Napoléon on livre en histoire nous toujours regarder devant de livre là, mais nous pas connaître ça qui fait nous vivre dans livre là. Ça fait toujours gain deux pas. Il y a toujours gain deux pas non story. Nous gain parfois nous moun dans son mauvais moun non story et pourtant c'est là vinn connaît ça qui passé moun qui fait arriver là. On va dire oh, un tel pas mauvais moun non, on comprend situation. Kouna Golat même vin là parce que attendez les roi philistéen ouais au papa voyer petite li vin bataille li ranger dans situation li tuer au pas après ça li bay peuple Israël la pote chay là yo vin dire c'est moun yo même qui ouais yo te voyer you know peuple Israël yo pour vin tuer maman oh comme petit garçon comme petit garçon qu'on est tête li parti. Qui vous qui tue maman? Si c'est maman elle-même, c'est maman qui va la vie, c'est maman qui tout bagay. Oui, bon Dieu. Oui. Et ça le sang, ouais. Ça son bagay dangereux et tout. Ça veut dire qu'on y a maman mouri, qu'on a la baiser retirer vin. Mais le vin là la tiré, c'est pas avec moun vraiment qui tue petite, qui tue maman. Pas gen moun vraiment pour bal conseil qui dit pour penser en vont réagir. Monsieur commence à réagir. Il commence à réagir sans pas penser. Il réagit sans pas vraiment si conseil ça peut le faire. Kounya la attendez. Yo dit comme ça et ou connaît ba yo dit l'homme entende yo tuer tel maman tel. Ou que pour be careful. Ou connaît pour ça parce que yo connaît moun ça te cher bokel ou ka réagir en gens ou pas supposé réagir. Yo ka faut réagir pour faire ça yo te besoin faire. Ça fait ou du coup ça penser en vont réagir. L'on bagay passé prend temps camper pour tête. Prier. Camper pour compte. Quitter bon Dieu par la vous plutôt. Moi-même, je suis un monde bon Dieu pas jamais quitter. Je ne pas dire qu'on s'en pi bon passer l'autre monde bon Dieu pas jamais quitter. Si m'te réagi avec moun, si m'te réagi avec ça moun t'a dit, m'ta fait un pile dégâts. M'ta fait un pile dégâts. Mais m'pas fait. Vous comprenez pour qui ça? M'dit toujours dit bon Dieu merci. En bon bagay passé, li toujours bon onction pour montrer mais ça le pas passer enfant. Gen peu fois, il pas montrer non, mais il dit comme ça, attendez, m'la nan mi temps. L'elle dit ça, il dit pour qui il dit trust quoi nan moi là avec ou pas besoin réagir avec n'importe monde, rester silence. Gen peu fois moi silence, moi ba la fois mal il frappé, il dit attendez, gen confiance dans ça m'a dit. Ret là, pas réagir parce que me connais ça me pas le faire. Ou même yo vinn contre toi, ou même encore y a vinn contre pas dit rien. Rete comme ça en silence. Ça femme dou comme ça pas chambre réagir. Ba la ka frappe en pile, li blessé ou pas réagir. Ton, les pour réagir, la pour réagir. Bon diable dou comme ça kounya ou mettre réagir. Gen bagay moi même qui là, m'a pas même là. M'ka pas en physique, même là. Pour qui ça me dit ça? Gen complot moun fem. Bagam te ka mouri longtemps. M'et là, m'ri parce que on se dit comme ça, ou m'et ri, m'konne ça ka passé. Il dit ou m'et ri. Avec ou fait tant kou gaga ou pas comprendre ça ka passé. Gen complot même moun fem pour mouri. Gen complot moun fem de quoi pour sembler ce mauvais moun moyen. Gen complot yo fait tant kou comme si c'est moi qui pas bon. Gen complot yo fait c'est bon moun, pas bon menti. Gen complot yo fait mais c'est comme si c'est un moun pas bon moyen, son femme devant de moyen, son femme qui dans chute garçon m'a couché tout côté. M'la nan mi temps tout complot. Bon c'est dit pas réagir. Les pour réagir avec yo m'a montré yo pour yo respecter petit moi. Moi m'son moun m'dou passer si yo. Mais c'est moi qui en mets tout passer fiel. Gen un temps pour ça. Ouais, Bible a dit comme ça, gen un temps pour crier, gen un temps pour rire, gen un temps pour grand goût, gen un temps pour manger. Attendez une seconde, s'il vous plaît. Attendez, gen pile bagay nous ouais dans la vie nous. Nous pas connait comment faire nous réagir comme ça, comment nous vinn comme ça. Mais ça me ka dit nous, gen pile bagay dans la vie nous pas réagir. Nous mettre ouais kay la craser, rete là pas dit rien. Pas dit rien. Pas même, gen pe femme sentim d'ajou, m'ta levé kay la m'frappe, m'pa fait. Parce que gen pe fois tout, c'est bon Dieu qui monto qui moun qui vraiment supporter ou. La monto qui moun qui support. La monto qui moun qui traite ou. La monto qui figi tout moun. Ou kon pour ça le faire ça? C'est entraîner la pour entraîner oui. La monto ça de quoi l'elle met non position ou connaît qui ça pour faire. Ou te gitan là déjà, ou te passé ça. Si on te connaît à qui moun yon a fait. Voyez du ça même Jésus te dit ça, si on te connaît qui moun te yo pas ta faire ça. Gen bagay ou moun min mette yo voyo pour venir mettre moun même péché ne pour venir péché ne moun nan. Si te connaît qui moun tel de aïe pas ta faire ça non. S'mde ou pas ta faire ça non. S'mde ou pas ta faire ça non. Si te moi pas ta dou ça, pas là dedans non. Parce que gen pile fois yo même yo pense son bagay qui facile. Peuple philistin a te pense son bagay facilité. Yo dit depuis yo joine Golat, yo connaît y a crasé peuple Israël. En réalité, c'est yo même qui crasé tête yo. Même mauvaise chance pour Golat parce qu'il était réagi, il pas pensé à tête li, c'est tête li encore qui coupé. Ça sont gros leçons. There are times in life People react to things and situations they shouldn't have reacted to. You let your emotions get the best of you. Instead of thinking with your mind and letting God show you things, you go out seeking counsel to some of these witches, these warlocks, these sorcerers, that these people should have no reason to even be in before. You're not even supposed to be in their presence. But because of the source that you went to, you're out of order. Remember, Saul was out of order. He knew that God wasn't talking to him. He started seeking the counsel of a witch. The same witch that he banded, saying that they shouldn't even have psychics and all this stuff. He went to the medium. Someone that speaks to the dead. And then he ended up dead. You see how that works? You start doing things that are out of order that you should have never done. Because you lost the way. Not even lost. You got out of the way. You were looking at what other people were doing. You lost sight of what you were supposed to be doing. And you followed what everybody else was going. I always use this example. When I was in high school, I was in band. And you know, when you do the forms on the field, there's always, for people that don't realize, when the band does a form on the field, that takes a lot of practice, y'all. And it takes somebody at the top of the bleachers to pay attention and see, he can see who's out of place and who out of order. Well, there was one day, I'll never forget, I don't even know what made me go that way. One day, everybody on the field, because, you know, everybody has different forms. Everybody was going left. Who's going right? Me. I'm like, I didn't even know I was going right. At that point, what ended up happening was, it was until after the game, like I think a day when we get together and we go over the formation, they're like, who is this going on this side of the field? Nobody else but me. It was me. But you know, God used that example. He said, sometimes when you see everybody going left, you don't need to go left. Go right. I know it hurt because you see everybody doing it too. But there's a reason I'm setting you apart. Go right. So now you end up going right. They're going left, and they didn't even know they're about to fall off the cliff. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes the person you coming against is not the person you should have been coming against in the first place. That ain't the person. That shouldn't even been the person they told you. Even if they told you to go pinch this person, you'd be like, nah, bruh. I just got this feeling, dog. This ain't gonna end up right. But it takes a big person, a mature person, to be like, yo, I'm not a follower. I'm not gonna follow y'all into this pit. I'm not in it. Because see, everybody wants to be on the same bandwagon with everybody else. Instead of somebody having an ear or an eye to say, yo, this is not right. Or saying, this ain't God. I'm not part of this mess because this ain't gonna end up right. If you tried all this stuff already and you see it didn't work, why we coming with this one? This ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. I'm not part of it. Nobody wants to actually seek and say, you know what? Something ain't right. And it's not that this person's a witch or sort. I mean, come on, a house divided does not stand alone. I've never seen a person go do witchcraft. Y'all work for the same boss. If a person's a witch, that means they're with God, they're basically working for the devil, and you work for the devil. The house divided does not stand alone. So obviously somebody's giving somebody some kind of false counseling there anyway. You see what I'm saying? So Goliath was immature. See, this is why the mom was even able to see that. You immature. No, you're not ready for this fight. This ain't your fight. This ain't our fight. Sit your butt down. You ain't mature. I'm mature, mom. He basically told you immature. The reason why I know, you started reacting. Soon as the mama passed away, you reacted. What did you do? You reacted. You reacted the way that they wanted you to react. Based on what came in your ear, you reacted. None of the other brothers showed up. Do y'all pay attention? None of the other brothers, the other giants didn't show up on the field. But you did. So now it wasn't even a fight against the Philistines and the Israelites. It became a fight against who? It became a fight against basically Goliath and the people that killed my mama. You see how that worked? And it was a lie. It was a fight based on a lie. This is why you don't jump in everybody's fight. This is why you don't jump on everybody's bandwagon. This is why. Because you need to know from A to Z really what's going on. And sometimes the person that's giving you the counsel is lying. You see what I'm saying? There's so many times where you see great men could have failed if they listened to their workers or listened to those that were next to them. This is why it is good to be set apart. You have to be set apart, not just in physical, but in the spirit. But like, no, that's not what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. Think about it. Nathan was Nathan. He was the prophet. He came to David and said, this is what you did, this is what you did, this is what you didn't do. Can you imagine how David felt like, dang, he wasn't even here? Yeah, but he sure enough told you. You see what I'm saying? He said, God isn't pleased with what you did. It's the same thing. When somebody comes against you and say, yo, so-and-so said this, it's always good to go to the horse's mouth. Stop listening to counsel from people that don't mean you any good. They're trying to make you fall. They're trying to drop you in a hole, in a pit, like Daniel. And if by the grace of God, he'll take you out the pit and drop them into their own pit. But sometimes people die prematurely based on what and whom they're around and whom they let inside their spirit, whom they let inside their ears. Don't listen to these Delilahs. Stop listening to these Delilahs, to these serpents that's slithering inside your ear. Some of y'all are under the influence anyway. It ain't even alcohol. Y'all under the influence. Y'all so drunk in the spirit, and I don't mean a good spirit. That y'all really not listening. Y'all really not. Y'all walking but blind. So now Goliath died before his time. He died. He was still a young man. He wasn't old. Goliath died based on emotion. If y'all think I made this up, go look it up. I'm a person, I love history. I love the book of history. I love the Bible. I'll take the Bible and I'm like, oh, damn, I didn't know that. Some stuff in the Bible is puzzles. You have to piece the puzzle together. And in order to do it, you're going to have to take history books too. And put it together. You're like, oh, so that's what happened. Yes. That's why they say the Bible is here for reference. And it will refer you, and even history books, they will refer you. That's why you have to, but everybody's so quick, they want a microwave effect and go straight to the internet. Google says, listen, y'all better read. My people suffer for lack of knowledge. So now, Orpah dies, a mother, her body's slain. It doesn't say she has a husband, so I don't even know if she's a widow. Her body was slain because of the fact they wanted her son, a prized possession. And then they end up dead because they put their hand. And not only that, the foundation was a lie. I decree and declare every lie right now. I'm going to say it not just for me, but anybody. Every and all lies, every and all manipulations, every and all deceptions that have been set up against you right now be exposed. And not only that the sword that they came against you with, they are going to fall upon their own sword. And everyone else too that was conspiring with them, excuse me. I decree and declare yes, I'm stepping into my authority. I've been stepping into my authority. I execute trust. I execute what I got. I don't even execute it all the time. Sometimes I don't even say nothing. You know why? Because he said, don't even waste your breath. Don't waste your breath. Don't say nothing. Let it happen because they don't even know what's about to happen. I'm doing this. I decree and declare every and all those that came up against every widow, every orphan, every single mother, every single father, every and all those that have come together to conspire, to deceive, to manipulate, to take, to rob, to thieve you of what is godly inheritance for you, that has come to deceive and make you paint a picture of you that is not what it is. The same sword, the same cords, the same ropes that they have guilted in front of their houses, the same swords that they have ready aimed for you, that they will fall upon their own sword, that they will be the ones guilted on there. They will be the ones that are falling inside their own pit because of whom they came against. Especially when there is no harm. to you, to your children, or to whatever it is that God has put you over. I have spoken, and let it manifest now. Because see, here's the thing. As people are plotting, y'all know I'm a songwriter, right? And God speaks to me even in songs. I love songs. See, I don't even know, should I say this like this? Men and women are plotting. See, demons are plotting, men and women are plotting instead of them hanging. Excuse me. It's still early in the morning, y'all. So, if I said this word right there, truth be told, they want you dead. They want you dead. Little do they know their head's about to be cut off. Every Goliath, not even Goliath, the innocence of Goliath, but the hard-headedness of Goliath. I'm telling you that right now. Because he didn't think with the right head, let them be cut off right now. And whatever spirit that has been used to seduce and soothe, and lure the innocent into the trap, let them be webbed into their own web. Let them be weaved into their own web where they won't be able to get out of it this time. I don't care what sorcery, what type of magic, what type of deception. I don't care what kind of juju, foo-foo, goo-goo. I don't care what they said they would do. I'm telling you facts. They're about to be planted and impaled inside their own sword. Hold on. I don't know if I should say this because some people ain't even got a sword anymore. There's some people that their swords have got away. And some people have been used just so they can lose their sword. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, jodi am vin pala ave nou mdi nou sa. Ouais, c'est pas tout le temps pour nous réagir. Pas réagir avec tout bagay ouais. Gyon bagay ou ka ou vin réagir avec c'est après ou pas dire comme ça monsieur me fait erreur. Ou gen temps pour fixer erreur. Gyon pe fò ouais moun nan vin mettre au devant, c'est ou même te besoin. Moun nan qui t'envoie pour ay bataille avec là, li qui t'en connaît li pas capable. C'est ou même te besoin. Yo range cause à même de quoi pour sembler c'est ou même qui en tort. Yo range pour sembler comme si c'est ou même qui pas bien, qui pas bon. Gen complot devant comme derrière. Gen moun qui fait complot contre moi. Aïe aïe aïe. M'ba di kon sa mauvais moun non pas moun qui mauvais il toujours gen bel caractère. Et moi ri. M'son moun ri. N'a fait blague, n'a fait plaisir, n'a ri. Même ba moun qui toujours gen déception des têtes yo. Toujours courir pour faire plan pour qu'à détruire moun ou prendre sac pas pour voler devant comme derrière. Même Bible a dit ça oui, c'est moun kon sa le gayi. Ça fait me dit comme ça Golat c'est un petit mounité. Il était gros moun mais un petit mounité. Il pas maturé. Ou pour ça me dit ça parce que leur dit maman mouri. Oui maman c'est maman mais maman entraîne. Maman entraîne pas jamais réagir pour ça mon divin dou. Pourquoi réagir comme ça? Ton. Parce que ouais moun nan qui besoin faire bagay là, il paraît c'est ranger pour. Gen peut faire ouais moun nan même mettre au devant de quoi pour tomber parce que c'est ou même il te besoin. Il qui t'en connaît, il pas de jouer notre moun nan. C'est ou même il te besoin. On va réagir, c'est pour penser on va réagir avant. Gen pile moun yo pas penser, yo juste réagir. Oh, et tel gros moun connaît m'ga sorti même ça même. OK. Moun sa comme ça, c'est moun sa y a point. Kouna le pi yo vin bagay avo, le pi yo met au devant pi yo machou, c'est ou même qui tombe. Parce que te gitan là. Yon tout ouais moun nan fouiller même de quoi pour tomber. C'est lui même qui fouille tout pour tête pâle. Li fouille tout pour te enterrer, c'est lui même qui tombe dans tout. Il fouille pi a pour tomber et puis lui même qui tombe dans pia. Comment en anglais nous dit guilty? Il y a un bois, il y a un pied bois devant porte la caille de quoi pour couper, comme si pour couper casser, et pourtant c'est cool, ça pas cassé. Yo range on manger pour prendre un poisson, et pourtant c'est lui-même qui mange dans poisson. Yo va manger, et pourtant c'est lui-même, tout va manger, c'est lui-même qui prend un poisson. Il pas comme ça. Yon bagay ou an moun fait, ou pas dire yon pas besoin réagir. Nous ça grand homme te kon dit ça, il dit et pas on dead ouais, il dit pas tout chien qui jappe ou veut regarder. Yon chien ouais qui jappe pas occuper, pas occuper. Ou pas besoin jouer, ou pas besoin ou garder après ça au marché, parler. Ou pas dire rien. Yon bagay ouais, gen bagay ouais ou pas besoin dire rien. Gen bagay ouais ou dit comme ça, si m'te ou même balade non non. Parce que gen bagay gon kote ou entrer et pas là où tu es supposé entrer. Ou fait trop. Yon kote ou rentre encore, ou ranger pour un monde, et pourtant, c'est tête ou crasé, c'est tête ou crasé, c'est tête ou sale. Nous quitter l'argent, nous quitter l'or, nous quitter diamant pour l'esprit nous. C'est le après, ennemi c'est pas ennemi vrai. Moun nan nous ti supposé camper côte en côte avec la pour notre bataille ensemble contre moun, c'est lui même notre bataille avec. Moun qui c'est supposé mettre nous dehors. Les situations sorties, c'est lui-même la bataille avec parce que qu'on a vrai ennemi nous à garder la vraie nous comment peut moun qui sortent. Et pour ça, m'dou nous Golat est toujours été et pas maturé. C'est peut-être ça ouais maman te dit ou pour comparer bataille ça pas pour nous. Ouais, même maman gitan ouais, bah ça pas pour. Ouais ça yo fait, yo ranger. Yo tué maman. De quoi pour yo ka vin di Golat même moun yo tué maman. Kounya Golat a réagi enragé parce que maman mouri. Maman même te entraîné mais tout ça l'entraîner là avec la kounya pas ouais parce que maman pas là. Les maman pas là ça veut dire sous là qui était là pour lui li pas là pour lui encore. Kounya tout ça la fait toute décision la fait c'est pas bon décision yo encore. C'est décision qui a fait tomber non tout, qui a tomber avant l'air, à cause plus problème dans la vie ou la vie l'autre monde